Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're jumping right into this fascinating push and pull relationship between human societies and the natural world. It's essentially a story of survival, of innovation, and, well, a profound, ongoing battle for dominance between us and planet Earth. We're going to break down the core concepts of human geography to make this whole complex dynamic super clear.
Right off the bat, let's tackle a massive question geographers have wrestled with for decades. Is the divide between physical geography, the mountains, the rivers, the climate, and human geography, our cities, cultures, and economies, is that actually a valid split? Or are we really just one giant holistic organism? It's a debate that's literally shaped the entire discipline.
Okay, here's our agenda for today. We'll start by defining human geography, then look at when nature ruled humans, followed by when humans mastered nature. After that, we'll explore the middle path and finally wrap up with the evolution of the discipline itself. Let's dive right into Section 1, Defining Human Geography. To kick things off, let's see how the pioneers originally tried to put this complex relationship into words. Our first definition comes from Friedrich Retzel, who called it the synthetic study of the relationship between human societies and the Earth's surface. The absolute key word to latch onto here is synthetic. It's really all about bringing things together, looking at the synthesis between what we build and exactly where we build it.
Then, Ellen C. Semple builds on this beautifully. She defines it as the study of the changing relationship between the unresting man and the unstable earth. I absolutely love this one because it injects so much dynamism into the picture. It reminds us that, hey, neither humanity nor the earth are static, right? We're both constantly shifting, reacting, and moving.
Finally, Paul Vidal de Lavlache offers this conception that intimately links the cold, hard physical laws governing our planet with the living, breathing beings walking on it. It's a highly holistic view. Basically, you simply cannot understand the actors without first understanding the physical stage they're performing on.
And what's really fascinating here is how our own language reflects this inseparable connection. When we look at historical mapping, it's wild to realize that we instinctively describe geography using human anatomy. Think about it. We talk about the face of the earth, the mouth of a river, the snout of a glacier, or the arteries of a road network. Even our everyday metaphors prove we're totally intertwined with nature.
Moving on to Section 2, When Nature Ruled Humans. Let's step deep into the wild for a second to see what happens when nature completely dictates human existence. We're going back to a time and to places where the environment is the absolute boss. This brings us to a concept known as environmental determinism. This happens in stages of low technological development. Imagine a primitive society facing the raw, unfiltered forces of nature. In this scenario, humans are naturalized. They adapt to whatever nature dictates. Nature is incredibly powerful. It's feared, and it's worshipped as Mother Nature. A perfect example from our source material is Benda, who lives deep in the wilds of central India. He practices primitive shifting cultivation, relies entirely on the forest for water and medicinal herbs, and literally blends into the canopy to hide. His entire existence is, well, determined by his environment.
Next up, Section 3, When Humans Mastered Nature.
So as human intelligence and our understanding of natural laws grew, we developed much better tools, and that swung the pendulum completely in the other direction. This contrast illustrates it brilliantly. On one side, we have Benda, whose life is a direct, immediate response to the central Indian forest. On the exact opposite side, we have Kari in Trondheim, Norway. Kari faces fierce winds, heavy snow, and months of near-total darkness. Yet she drives to work in a heated car, works in a university built under this massive climate-controlled glass dome, and casually eats fresh tropical kiwis flown in from across the globe in the dead of winter. Kari's life is actually the ultimate example of our next core concept, possibilitism. This is the idea that human beings can move from a state of pure necessity to a state of freedom. Nature just provides the opportunities, right? And we use our technology to capitalize on them. We create a cultural landscape. We build health resorts on highlands, chart massive oceanic routes, and construct heated glass domes in the Arctic. We aren't naturalized humans anymore. We are actively humanizing nature. That brings us to Section 4, the middle path. So, we've got these two extremes, right? Environmental determinism, where nature dictates everything, and possibilism, where our technology seemingly overrides nature entirely. But do we really have to choose between absolute necessity and absolute freedom? Well, enter the geographer Griffith Taylor. He introduced this brilliant synthesis called neo-determinism, or stop-and-go determinism. It's a middle path that basically throws out the strict either-or debate.
His profound, almost paradoxical assertion is that humans can indeed conquer nature, but only by obeying it.
Taylor uses a super effective traffic light metaphor to explain this. Green means go. Proceed with development safely. Amber provides a gap to get set and assess, but when nature flashes a red light, it literally means stop. Environmental limits have been reached. The crucial takeaway here is that there is absolutely no free run without accidents. The developed world attempted a free run, ignoring those red lights for decades, and the result? Global warming, ozone layer depletion, receding glaciers. We can totally create possibilities, but only within limits that don't shatter the environment.
Finally, let's look at Section 5, Evolution of the Discipline.
To really understand how we arrived at these incredibly complex theories about our relationship with the planet, we need to zoom out a bit. Human geography started way back in the early colonial period, heavily driven by imperial interests. It was mostly about exploration and encyclopedic description. By the 1930s, it evolved into areal differentiation, trying to figure out why one region is totally unique from another. Then, jumping to the late 1950s, we hit the quantitative revolution. People started using computers and strict physics laws to map human phenomena. But pretty soon scholars realized geography was becoming way too dehumanized, just a bunch of cold statistics.
And that exact discontent led to a massive turning point in the 1970s. Geographers desperately wanted to make the discipline relevant to real, everyday sociopolitical issues. So 3 major schools of thought emerged. You had the welfare or humanistic school, which focused on social well-being, stuff like housing and health. The radical school employed Marxian theory to explain poverty and the negative impacts of capitalism. And the behavioral school really emphasized people's lived experiences and how different groups actually perceive space. Almost overnight, geography became deeply, richly human again.
Now, because human geography covers literally all elements of human life, it obviously can't exist in a vacuum. Its highly interdisciplinary nature means it interfaces with pretty much every major social science out there. If you're studying social geography, you're deeply tied to sociology. Political geography links directly to political science. Economic geography is totally tethered to economics. It's a vast, integrative discipline that constantly borrows from and contributes to our broader understanding of the whole human experience.
And that brings us to the end of our explainer. We've seen how humanity evolved from being entirely at the mercy of Mother Nature, hiding in forests, to eventually building artificial climates in the freezing cold. But I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. When you look at our world today, with all our incredible technology and ambition, are we truly practicing Griffith Taylor's stop-and-go determinism? Are we respecting nature's red signals, or are we just speeding straight through the intersection, risking a massive global crash? Thanks so much for exploring with us.